Donna, good morning. What can I do for you?
Sean.
Good morning.
Yes, yes. Yep. It's still morning for me. It's actually afternoon for me now. But anyway, so, so basically, I just hopped on this call because, again, I mean, I've been sending out the office, and I know it takes time. It's a numbers game and all of that, but I just want to make sure I'm doing everything right. It's like I'm thinking about actually what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually get your idea of basically moving over to possibly multifamily listings and land. But I know I probably just need to stick with one thing. But I'm finding that, and I'm also hearing from other people saying that for single family homes, it's better for like sub two, and multifamily is better for seller finance, and that's basically what I'm pretty much understand very much of. I understand that more than I understand sub two and everything. So I was just wondering where should I go because it feels like I probably could get more motivation with that. And I did do something I know, and I will also say, since you said about adding the balloon payments on that, I have been getting more responses, but the thing is, they still are running into my seller doesn't want to do that. My seller doesn't want to do that. And also, I've been sending in a little bit of things where I educate them because I know a lot of people don't know about this creative finance stuff. So I've been doing that. But like I said, I'm not getting anywhere with getting any offers like accepted or anything like that. So I just want to know what I could possibly be doing wrong or where I should pivot.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's start with the first thing. Let's kind of audit what you've been doing. How long have you been using Deal Sniper?
I've been using it. Well, I think today it'll be 13 days, so 12 days since I actually started like sending offers.
Okay.
So about 12
And
days.
and how many offers a day are you consistently sending out?
About 13 to the last time I sent out offers, which was yesterday, were about 13, but I try to make sure every day, sometimes it's between 13 to 20. So the most part, I'm sending about 20 a day. And I'm trying to make it where so I get out 100. So it's like it's not quite even. So it's like sometimes there's 23. Some like I said the other day was about 13, and yesterday I sent out I believe about like 23, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So and I haven't gotten away. So 12 days to send out. I would say an average of about 20 offers a day, and I'm not like getting nowhere like I believe I should. Then I
Okay.
believe I should be getting better. Yeah.
So let's now talk about your follow-up. So out of these, for just for easy math, we're just rounded out to 15 a day. Some days it's 13,
Hmm.
some days it's 23. So we'll just do 15 a day, right?
Okay.
Are
All
you
right.
work are you sending out offers on the weekends?
Not on the weekends, no.
Okay. So out of the last 12 days, that would cover the 21st and the 20th was a weekend, and then the 13th and the 14th. So out of the 12 days you've been sending out offers, there's actually only been about 8 where you're sending out 15 offers a day. That's 120 offers sent out so far. You follow me?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So out of the 120 offers, how many have you not heard from?
Oh wow. Well, I could say, let's just say, like you said, for round numbers, let's just keep it at 20. For each 20, it seems like for my response rate, it's probably about like I get like six. And ever since I started adding in that balloon payment, being more clear with that, I probably have gotten about, I say in the last 2 days, I've gotten about like seven responses back. So out of all these days, I've probably gotten hmm, about 22 responses back out of the 120.
Okay.
And all of them are saying either the only real positive one I've gotten was when the person said that they would be sending it over. But I think that was another wholesaler or someone. I believe they had it on one of those listing companies. Because I've just been just sending out offers. I haven't had taken too much time to check if it's free and clear, anything like that. I've just been like going to Redfin, like you said to do, putting it in Deal Sniper, underwriting it, cleaning up the numbers and just sending it off. So I'm not like really looking at to see who was coming from. So I believe that and they said they would get back to me if it was something that the sellers were interested in. Basically, the screenshot that I sent you in the Discord. That's
Gotcha.
basically what I got back so far. And as far as follow-ups, as far as me calling people back to make sure they got it. Now, a lot of times now, what I will say is maybe I've called too. I didn't call right away because it's like I don't have a system right now where it's automated, so I'm doing everything by hand. So what I try to do is I try to follow up at least like later on throughout the day for the ones that maybe didn't respond to me at all, and try to say, hey, my name is so and so. I sent you this from this email. I wanted to know if you got it. If you got it, just hit me back with a text or let me know, response something,
Hmm.
basically real quick, something like that. So that's probably about like 7 people I have followed up with. Either I follow up later on in the day or I follow up the next day by phone. So and I've like I said, so I've heard from other people, and I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to like give up or anything, but I've heard from other people that it's better for single family because that's what I've been focusing on, single family homes, to do like focus on sub two with that because the seller
Okay.
finance rate is real low. They don't want to like be responsible for and so many, and then they say people don't understand. So
Right.
I've like
So
went
we'll
to
we'll
Chat
touch on
GPT.
we'll touch on
Okay.
that in 1 second. Let's finish auditing what you're doing. So we've
Okay.
determined that you've sent out 120 offers since you've been sending out offers with Deal Sniper. You said
Hmm.
22 of them have gotten back to you, and then that leaves 98. And you're saying out of the 98, you've called 7 to follow up and hey, did you get the offer? Yada yada yada. Right?
Yes, did you get the offer? And I've probably done a little bit more than 7 because like I
How many do
usually
you think?
call like the day after. So maybe about like 20 that I've called back to
Okay.
make sure they've gotten it. And I've gotten 2 of them that said they followed up with me because some realtors they follow up with me either later on or different times of the day, and I'll see something on my phone and they'll
Okay.
say, we got it at interest, seller isn't interested, or saying that they need to speak to the seller. And then, like I said, I don't just give up. So I call, and I know I have to keep on following up until I get a response. So I follow up. I say like out of 3 that said they had to, check in with their seller, they got it. And I respond back the next day, say, hey, have you gotten back to your seller yet? Have you, spoke to your seller yet? And a couple of them ghosted me, and one of them did say they got back with them, and no, that was nothing. So probably
Okay.
about like 7 of those.
So out of the 120 offers that you've sent, you
Hmm.
said 22 responded. Then you
Hmm.
followed up with about 20 of them. So
Yes,
that leaves 78 offers that you've never heard from nor followed up on. Is that accurate?
yes, yes.
Okay.
That's definitely accurate. Accurate. Yes.
Okay. So we'll touch on that in a second. I just want to make sure we're on the same page about the numbers so I can kind of see the situation. As far as what type of offer goes for subject to and what type of offer better for seller finance, that's a bunch of nonsense.
Okay.
That's complete and utter nonsense. So the type of property doesn't dictate the situation the seller is in. Just
Okay.
because you own a multifamily doesn't mean that you're better for sub two or seller finance, because you can own a multifamily and still have a mortgage or not have a mortgage. You can own a single family and have a mortgage or not have a mortgage. It doesn't matter. The type of property has no bearing on what type of offer you're able to provide, with the exception of land. Land is the hardest one to do because one, there aren't a lot of buyers for land. So even if you get one under contract, you're going to be sitting on it for a while, and you're going to have to take a deep discount or get it at a deep discount in order to have a chance of moving it. And even if you do move it, it's only going to be a few $1,000s. You can't seller finance or subject. You can't do any type of creative for land because that's going to involve a monthly payment due to the seller from the investor. Well, the investor, it's a piece of land, so they're not going to be collecting any money in order to compensate for what they're going to have to pay to the seller every month. So the only thing that I don't recommend doing for a particular type of property is creative financing on land. because those are
Okay.
significantly harder to sell. The only thing that dictates what type of deal you're going to be able to do is the seller's situation and motivation. That's it. That's why I teach
Okay.
everyone to be cross trained. The people who work underneath us should be good at cash, should be good at creative, and should also be good at innovations. That way, no matter who they're talking to, they have an exit strategy where they can close the deal. Does that
Okay.
make
Yeah, I
sense?
saw the video that you put up about novations. I haven't had a chance to watch that one either, so I was thinking about that too. Okay, yes,
But
it
do
makes sense.
you see how it doesn't matter what type of property it is. You can have
Hmm.
an apartment complex that's a multifamily, but it could
Hmm.
still have a mortgage or it could not have a mortgage. And the only thing that determines if it's a subject to or a seller finance is if it has a mortgage or not the
Well,
type
they
of
were saying,
property that it is.
well, basically what the person was saying, or several people were saying, basically they weren't saying exact. Okay, they know they for that part, that's understandable. What they're saying is like people who, saying like if they have a sub two or something, if it's going to be a sub two type of deal, they might not take. They don't want to do creative at all because they don't under. A lot of them don't understand it or whatever. Just use that example, something like that. Or they might just want to do it the other way. But I get what you're saying, so I'm not going to,
Yeah,
go, go
the
deep in that.
onus of who understands or they may not understand subject to. There are people who don't understand basic wholesaling. There are sellers who have no
Hmm.
idea what a wholesaler is, and you have to explain it to them. There are real estate
Hmm.
agents who know who wholesalers are and who know what seller finance is, but they don't understand subject to, or vice versa. And that's on us to be able to explain it to them.
Hmm.
Again, that
Yes.
has no bearing on the type of property that they own.
Okay.
The only thing that
All right.
I guess I would be a little leery of is if you see a property that's been recently flipped, like it's a high quality flip and it has a mortgage. Because if that's the case, it's probably a hard money loan and you shouldn't subject to those because the interest rate's just too high. But again, that
Hmm.
could be the same that you can have that same scenario with a multifamily, with a duplex or a quadplex or an apartment complex, doesn't matter. Having a mortgage and the ability to do a creative financing deal versus a cash deal is solely dependent on the seller's motivation situation, not the type of
Well, I
property.
know with on market, I don't even bring up cash at all. I
Yeah,
just
cash is no
stick
good.
straight, sir. Yeah, because it's not going to be. There's nothing going to be. It's not going to be nothing for them, and there's definitely not going to be nothing for me. So I
So
can,
let me
So I'm
let's
like,
go back to the next part where we're auditing your numbers. So out of the
okay.
78 people that you've never reached back out to get a follow up, by the way, your money's always going to be in the follow up. It is very rare, and I mean very, very rare. I'm good at this. I do this every day. I've been doing this for almost a decade. And even in my experience, it's rare that you're going to send out an offer to a real estate agent via email and they're going to respond, okay, cool, let's do it. Send me a contract. You're always going to have to follow up. You're always going to have to get on the phone. You're always going to have to talk to them and negotiate and give and take. That's a given. If someone responds to you and says, yeah, sure, we'll take your offer, I'd be willing to bet $100 that they're just being sarcastic and messing with you because that's just
Okay,
not
well, that's
typical.
understandable. Yeah, that's understandable. And really, I don't expect to, get so say someone, hey, we'll set up a contract with the, via email. I know I still have to speak with them. It's just like, just taking the time out to do it. Like I try to send out everything in the morning, and by the afternoon I try to follow up. So just, that's something that I probably need to just, like you said, have to do more of, because I know they always say the they always say follow up is, that's how you get everything going. So yes, I'm sorry if I sound tired, but I am.
Oh no, that's okay. Believe me, I get it. My dog had surgery. I haven't slept in 3 days, so I've just been
Oh wow.
watching her to make sure that she's okay. So I believe me, I get it. Um, so let me ask you another question. Of the 120 offers that you have sent out, how many of them had the balloon correction on it?
Okay, I just literally started that maybe like late last week,
Okay,
like literally after that last group call we
the
had.
live that you're on,
And you
yeah.
mentioned that, yes, yes, and you mentioned that, and you were talking to someone else, and I said, I need to start doing that. And then, when you broke it down, so I just take that out completely with the years.
Gotcha. That's probably a better
Mhm.
move. And even like you said, you started to get an increased amount of responses. So here's what I would suggest. I would suggest
Yes.
not not jumping around. If you want to learn land on the back end, that's okay.
Mhm.
But what is that jack of all trades but a master of none? That cliche? Like you need to be really, really comfortable with one thing before you jump into something else. That's my opinion. I don't
Yeah.
know how your brain works. You could be different and you're like, hey, I can do multiple things at once. If you can, cool. I
No, no,
can't.
no, no,
So
no. I understand what you're saying, and that's completely true. So that's just like that is me, like having like this shiny object syndrome type of thing. So that's
so
why I
I'm gonna
haven't like
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's why I haven't like jumped over to that. I was just like wondering, but I already kind of always already knew what your answer was gonna be because it's true. I don't want to be jumping from one thing to another. I just really want to get to the point where like I just stay focused. That's why I've stayed focused on seller finance for so long. It's the one creative finance structure
So
and with single family.
what is it about subject twos that you don't understand? Maybe we can fix that up and maybe that'll clear that block up.
Okay, well, it's like the interest rates and everything. Okay, as far as the interest rates for both creative finance structures, they say some people say don't do less than 5%. And then like when I need to know exactly that if I'm looking at a sub two and a hybrid, so I get mixed up with those two because like is are hybrids like negative percent interest rates or what is that, or sub twos, where do they start at like 5%, 10%? Like that's where I get mixed up with like the interest rate. Like what does the interest rate start at for a sub two or hybrid?
Gotcha.
Seller
Okay.
finance is simple because it's 100%, it's free and clear. So that's why that's like very easy for me to understand. So
Not a problem. So
that's,
we'll
uh-huh.
break one down right now. So
Okay.
seller finance, like you said, free and clear, 0% interest, very straight to the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Subject
Yes.
to, all that means is that they have a mortgage. They currently have a mortgage. And what our, I say we, but what our investors are going to do is service the mortgage payment on behalf of the seller, which is a fancy way of saying our investor is going to make that payment for you every month.
Take over the mortgage.
No, 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 no. You can't say it like that. See, terminology is very important when you're talking about subject to, because
Okay.
when you say the words take over the mortgage, most real estate agents and people who have mortgages, they hear you're going to assume my mortgage. That means that
Okay.
okay, so we'll use you and I, for example. Let's say you're the homeowner currently with the mortgage, I'm the investor. So that means right
Okay.
now your mortgage and your house is in Donna's name. And when the deal is done, the house and the mortgage is going to be in Sean's name. That's not what we do. That's what I just described as a
Okay.
loan assumption. That means that our investor is going to assume the loan. We do not do that. What we do is we subject to the mortgage. So what that means is the full explanation or the full explanation is called we're purchasing the property subject to the current mortgage. Everyone just abbreviates
Okay.
it by calling sub to. And again, it's just a fancy way of saying, Donna, you own the house is in your name, the mortgage is in your name. When we're done with this transaction, the house is going to be in my name, but the mortgage is going to stay in your name. I'm just going to make the payment for you every month. That's what a
Hmm.
subject to
Okay.
is.
Okay. That's okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So it stays in their name. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So everything is the same as a seller for finance because on seller finance, the house is going to go in our name. There's no more in the investor's name at closing, and there's no mortgage to worry
Hmm.
about. A subject to just means, hey, you have a mortgage, so it's going to stay in your name. The house is still going to go in my name, like a seller finance. I'm just going to make the mortgage payment for you. So
Hmm.
instead of this monthly payment that Deal Sniper comes up with, our investor is going to pay the mortgage payment for them. That's all.
Okay. Okay. And the rates, that's like I said, the rates is what I get stuck, hung up on. Like, what's
Like
that?
what's the
Like, what,
good?
how do
What's
you
the
determine
cutoff?
what's a good, right? And I know the current interest rates, I it's been a while since I've looked it up. I think it's about like 7, 8% or something like that. So I know if you can be, I know it's about beating the bank. So and beating, obviously an investor when they look at, we have to look at in the eyes of an investor at the end buyer. They wouldn't want something that high. They would want something like at least that no lower than like I say about 5, 4%. Is that true? Is that
I would
good?
I would absolutely say that with the rates that they are today,
Mm-hmm.
if you're at a 5.5% interest rate or lower on a current mortgage, so trying to do a subject to or a hybrid, if they say,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to have to ask, what's your mortgage balance? What's your mortgage payment? What's your interest rate? If they say 5.5% or lower, you're good. If they say five and a half
Okay.
percent or higher, you still could be good depending on what their monthly payment is and the cash on cash return. But that's like a red flag. It's not a deal killer.
Okay.
What's a deal killer is like double digits. If their interest rate is
Okay.
10%, yeah, that no, we're not doing that. That would be no different than
Okay.
if you came across a real estate agent who said, "Oh yeah, we want 10% interest on the seller finance." No, we can't do that. We want cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
Got it.
subject to or hybrid. If their current mortgage is at 5.5% or lower, you're good to go. Keep going. If it's higher than 5.5%, that's just a red flag. That doesn't mean the deal is dead unless it shoots up to double digits. Then that definitely is going to kill the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay.
on, on a hybrid. Oh, let me finish explaining subject two. So what happens on a seller finance? On a seller finance, they own it free and clear. Every dime that we're going to give them is their equity. So we're going to give them a down payment at closing, and then we're going to give them monthly payments to pay off the remaining balance, right? On a
Mm-hmm.
subject
Yes.
to, we don't have to do any of that. The only thing we're doing is giving them money to walk away. There is no reoccurring payments going to the seller. Those reoccurring payments are going to the mortgage company because remember, our investor is paying that mortgage on their behalf after closing. So there is no money going to the seller and to the mortgage company because usually on a subject to there isn't a lot of equity. For example,
Okay.
more they want to sell their house for 220,000, but they have a $200,000 mortgage. That means they only have $20,000 worth of equity. So we can
Mm-hmm.
just give them that at closing. They go away, and our investor finishes making that monthly payment every single month. Done.
Got it. So I can see how that's definitely something people favor a lot of, like the Pace Morbies and all these people out here that favor that. That definitely sounds like a good deal,
Yep. Especially
good
if you can get a
investment.
good interest rate, good cash on cash return, good cash flow, you're looking good. Now, a hybrid. A hybrid is just a combination of a subject to and a seller finance. So what the example I just gave you, what did I say? I said they want to sell their house for 220, but they have
Mm-hmm.
a $200,000 mortgage. So they're only expecting 20 grand after they sell it. That's their profit, $20,000. Well, what if they were
Okay.
selling their house for 220, but they only had a $100,000 mortgage? So now they're expecting $120,000. Well, we can't give them $120,000 at closing. That's too high. So what we'll do is we'll give them the same 20. We'll still pay off the mortgage. Well, not we, our investor will still pay off the mortgage payment every month. And then on that extra $100,000 worth of equity, that will seller finance. So then our investor will be making a payment to the seller and to the mortgage company. That's a hybrid. The only issues with hybrid is that most of the times they don't cash flow because our investor has to pay two payments. Our investor has to
Okay.
pay the mortgage payment and the seller finance payment. On a seller finance only, they just have to pay the seller finance payment. On a subject to only, they only have to pay the mortgage payment. On a hybrid, they got to pay both and then hopefully have enough cash flow left over to make the deal worth it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
That's the only difference between the three. Who's got
Okay.
mortgages and what the investor ends up paying.
All right. Okay. Yes, there you broke that down beautifully because it's like it gets really confusing. A lot of people don't really break it down like that, you know,
Not a
about the
problem.
difference between the hybrid and the sub two. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you have any other
So
questions that I can answer for you?
no, like you said, I believe I just need to follow up more. So what I will have to start doing is see right now, like I said, I'm doing this manually. I don't really have anything out, to look at because I've just been, like I said, looking them up on Redfin and
Are you using
and
the
what I do
tracking
use
sheet?
prop I haven't used the tracking sheet because I
Okay.
have like a CRM right now that I use
Oh, you do have a
to put
CRM. Okay.
things. Yeah, so I can put it so I can just put it in there. So I just put it in there.
So
But
here's what I want to
really
do,
to be
Donna.
honest,
I want to modify what you're currently doing. I know my formula, the 100 offers a week and all that, yeah, yada yada yada. But sometimes people can't send them out, and I understand that. But what I don't want you to do is waste your time. And if you're sending out offers, but then not getting to the follow up, not introducing yourself to the agent, not reassuring them that this is a real offer, you're wasting your time sending out the offer in the first place. So here's what I'd like to do. We're going to modify
mhm,
what you're doing as far as what your daily goals are, and then I'll check in with you again next Friday. We'll jump on another one-on-one, and we'll kind of track it. We'll see how your experience is next week versus last week. Okay. So
okay,
I want you to send out 25 offers on Monday. I want you to send out 25 offers on Wednesday, and I want you to send 25 offers out on Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, all I want you doing is following up with everyone you've never gotten with everyone you sent an offer to that didn't tell you flat out no. And you know what?
okay,
Take it a step further if you want to be ballsy. Call the ones that did tell you no, because there's still an
hmm,
opportunity there. You can say, "Hey Donna, this is Sean. Yeah, I got your message about the offer I sent on 123 Main Street. Completely understand. Creative financing isn't for everyone. But let me ask you this: my investors are hungry. Like they're trying to buy 4 or 5 properties every single month until the end of the year. Do you have any other listings or any other sellers that might be open to creative options? I'd love to take a look at it
hmm.
because
Yeah, I
the
have
worst
sent that in the emails as
no,
well.
no,
But
no. But
yes, to
I
call
want
them
you
up
to
and say that
I want you to
verbally.
get on the phone.
Yes.
Yeah, get on the phone.
Yes.
So
Okay.
at
All
the end
right.
of Tuesday and Thursday, only after you've gotten through all your calls, then you can start sending out more offers if you have time, more time in the rest of the day.
Okay.
And I want you and
All right.
listen,
So.
this is gonna compound. So I hope you're understanding this. Let's say you send out 25 offers on Monday. Tuesday, you make 25 phone calls, you're following up with everyone, but only 10 of them answer you. Like you get voicemails. Okay, so then you're going to send out 25 offers on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, you need to follow up with the new offers and the ones that didn't respond to you on Tuesday. You are
Yeah.
going to keep following up with every single person that you have not gotten a response from every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes.
So
Yes. I will. I'm
that's going to
writing this
get
down. Actually,
that's
I'm
going to
going.
turn
I'm going
into
to do this.
a lot of calls. So it would be in your best interest to get a hold of everyone that you can, even if you have to call them once in the morning. And then at the end of the day, okay, there's 8 people I haven't gotten a hold of today. Give them a call again.
They say the fortune is in the follow up.
It is. It
So
absolutely is. Every significant
yes.
deal I've ever closed has been due to follow up.
Okay.
That's in my life. That's not even wholesaling.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to do it, Sean. Yes. So 25 offers Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, follow up Tuesdays and Thursdays with a phone call. Get on the phone and, the ones who didn't, get anything at all, even the ones, like you said, that had said, they might not be interested, but get on the phone and find out what's going on and kind of like break it down to them, because like a lot of them don't. I realize that maybe a lot of these agents don't want to say they don't understand, or maybe their seller constantly get these type of offers and all of that. That's why I don't just go off of the template that's in Deal Sniper. Obviously, I put in the chat GPT and put something, say make this, make a similar similar suggestion for this, so I can make sure it's the same, because I know you all put it in there because it works, but I believe that them getting the same type of thing all the time, they get this and they need to see something different. And what I did, like I said, I did like put a little bit more explanation. Do you think I should still send that out too? Via email? Obviously, I know I definitely need to get on the phone and follow up as well, but you think I still should continue to do that as well?
That's a good question. I didn't have any real problem with the alt. I mean, not that I would anyway, but I didn't see any issues with it. I say for this week, just try it and do it consistently, and then on Friday we'll look at it and we'll see if it works. If you're not
Okay.
getting a good
Right.
response, then we'll go back to the original.
Okay, because I definitely will be doing what you told me to do, because you you are the master of this. I'm not quite yet. So even though I know about realistic thing, but I have to get a deal closed and I have to do this. This is something that has to be done. Period.
All right. So then let's set up let's do just hit me up like 5 minutes before 11 on Friday and we'll reevaluate. We'll see how you're doing. Obviously, this was recorded. It'll go on YouTube and I can send you a link if you need to revisit it at all.
Okay, yes, that would be great. Please send me a link of this, because I definitely would like to go back and review. So what I'm going to do is do exactly what you said do now, so I can get this thing going like I need to.
Sounds good. All right. Let me know if you need any help with anything else.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
You're very welcome. Have a
Hmm.
good rest of your day.
You too. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye-bye.